what they do is run to the next.
No.
To get a better perspective, let's go back and figure out why do I think that?
And visualize positive things so that I can get a positive result.
Men are under the illusion that if you suppress it, it goes away.
This is sad. No, let him talk.
This is HisSide. I'm your host, Jeff, and I'm here with my guy, retired NBA player, ex-Clipper, Catino Mobley.
What's up, everyone?
We want to celebrate Father's Day this month, and Catino has a very interesting point of view when it comes to
A little bit.
Yeah, Father's Day. Give me a little bit of your perspective on Father's Day.
My perspective, I mean, if you have time, right? I really don't get into holidays.
Okay.
You can ask my mother and my father. I was blessed to have 4 parents. And I think I was the age of 12 or 13 years old when I told my parents, don't give me birthday parties, no, nothing. I'm okay.
Why was that?
I just didn't need it. For what? What it might, see, there's in life, and maybe I was like this, I don't want to say wise, but I was.
Wise beyond your years?
Yeah, I was a thought leader at a very young age. I didn't know why or why I thought those things, but just at a young age, it's the expectations of things, and then you start to get used to them, and if it don't happen, where are you emotionally?
Right.
So unless I can control it myself, I don't expect anybody else to do it just because it's a Hallmark day, which is actually Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays. It's just the Hallmark people get rich, not us, right? So
Right.
At a very young age, I was like that, and I'm not big on birthdays. I'm not big on fathers. I'm not big on those things because I think every day you wake up is a birthday. Every day, if you're a mother or father, every day is a mother or father's day. So to make it one day, then have expectations like someone's supposed to do something, to me, it's just, again, that's my opinion.
So, it's a valid one. How would you say, what would be a way to celebrate fathers without it just being one day? I know you said every day, but what are some things that would make you feel celebrated on a daily basis?
I think that's through time. I'm not begging my children to, for me, there's learning how to love and respect myself, right? I meditate, I walk in the mornings, I read a lot. I do the things I love. And doing the things I love, I pour that love into my family, my kids. My oldest son gets up early in the morning, he reads. My youngest son comes in, we get hugs. It's mandatory in our house to hug and kiss before you go to school, before you do anything, even on weekends. That's just my happiness. And that's the selfishness of me. I poured into them. So I don't expect them to do anything I don't expect of myself. A lot of people expect things from others and they don't do it for themselves. So I think that's where the childhood traumas or the complex traumas or things like that come into play throughout your life. Because you have to have a relationship with yourself first before you have a relationship with someone else.
Right.
And if that relationship with yourself is kind of tampered, confused, right? Or is evolving, you're confused on who you pick.
Right.
So for me, I have to have the best relationship for myself so then I can pour that into, on a normal basis, to my children.
So cultivating that self-love and that self-worth is paramount from the beginning. And then once you have that, then you'll know how to receive love.
Yeah. And listen, so I have a 10-year-old daughter who's, of course, my life, like my boys. Of course, she's my favorite. No, but, she hurts my feelings a lot. She's growing every single, when she was 9, she was this, and when she was 10, she's 10 now, she's this, and 8, and, before it was up underneath daddy, and we have to go upstairs and read every single night before she goes to bed, and it's, sleeping in my room, and then she go to her room, and then she come back to my room middle of the night, and back to her room, and now she's older, and she's closing doors, and it's this, and I gotta go with my mom and my friends, but me learning how to communicate shows my self-love to my daughter and to my boys. If something hurts my feelings, I have to tell them, and it's a talk, right? But when you get older as a man, when I was young, I'm from Philadelphia. You're not taught at a young age to express your feelings, and you don't have boundaries. Parents don't even teach you boundaries, because now if you teach me boundaries and I'm a young pup, then I'm telling you my boundaries, but it's their house. It's actually their room. It's a dictatorship. So how am I teaching you boundaries? That's the confusing thing. So, I teach my kids boundaries with myself. So listen.
As an example.
It's an example,
okay, gotcha.
right? So now I'm telling my son this, or I'm telling my daughter this, or I'm telling my oldest son this. So I'm teaching them boundaries of me, respecting me, and I respect them.
But you're a different type of dad because all your kids are with you.
Yeah.
Right? And you actually had to fight years to get your kids. 7 years.
7 years.
Can you kind of expound on,
trial?
As a father, we talking about Father's Day, but I mean, that's a different type of father, the way that you went about getting your kids. Can you kind of?
Yeah. Listen, I can't blame anybody else for the situations that do happen in life. The silver lining is I get my children, right? And of course, they see their mother as well. But the fight that you have to go through, I don't think a lot of people could have, could stood. Listen, I had the resources. It drained me emotionally, financially, right? And I think the only thing that kept me upbeat was the consistency of loving myself and understanding that there is a silver lining behind it. And, for years, it was a lot of different battles, whether it's planning something or...
you mean with the mother?
With the mother. Or trying to get in relationships, couldn't really, it's better for me to really focus, especially back then, not so much now, but to really focus on myself and my children, and everything else comes second. Now they're older, right? My daughter's the youngest at 10, my 14-year-old son, my older sons. So it's more pivoting towards me, focus on more me. But it was a struggle, man, and I think the struggle was more so of my habits in life growing up. And all of us go through this. All of us go through this. My daughter says something very profound. This was last year, and something happened where she was at her mom's or whatever, and she says when she came back, and my mom did something. And we were in the car, and she said, "Dad, do you think we're children in grown-up bodies playing adults?" Because she saw her species, female, do things that was more childlike. So me being a sports psychologist, I had to explain to her that we are children. But she said that. She was contemplating and trying to conjure in her head, why are we like this? Right, so that's some Carl Jung. So
right.
That's some deep. So I kind of explained to her. I said, yeah, we have childhood traumas that we never really fix. We just mask or paint over. Right. But if
we're adults that have had all these childhood traumas, and now they're manifesting in our adult body, and we're trying to figure out we're going from place to place.
You're playing a grown up that you don't even know who is. Right. I can say, oh my gosh, this person over here is successful, they're a billionaire, what have you. I want to be like them, but you only see from the outside. They can be suffering on the inside.
Right.
So when you say that, you're speaking to the universe now. So now what the universe does is it gives it to you, but it gives you the inside of the individual. The inside of the individual can be, low self-esteem, could be an evil person, could be anything. You don't know. So you got to be careful what you wish for. So I'm very intentional, or at least I try my best to be intentional what I ask for, and be careful what you wish upon.
Right. So over the years, the relationship between you and the kid's mom, has it progressed, or how has it evolved?
I think for me, I have to distance myself, because you could be speaking Pig Latin, I'm over here and I'm speaking English. It's just a different world. And it's not no pointing fingers of what's right, what's wrong. It's just that I'm more comfortable over here, and my kids are older now, so I can speak to my children about whatever it is when it comes to school or sports, and then make sure your mom knows that you have a game here, or she'll text me something, I'll text her something. But having actual conversations on a regular, I don't like to get into those type of things.
Is it because of different mindset?
Different mindsets, and then it gets to something where it's like, it's just it just doesn't get, it's not get there.
I know you don't celebrate Father's Day. So how do you teach your kids? Do they give you gifts? How do you, when that day comes, what happens?
Yeah, I don't. I've actually trained my children. It's like, it's all good. Like, happy Father's Day, give me a hug, give me a kiss like a regular day.
Okay.
And then I'll sit at the house and maybe out back, and I love cooking, so I'm the one usually cooking in the house. And I'm a single dad, so I'm the only one in the house.
Right.
So there's no female in the house. So I have my cigar, and if it's red wine or if it's tequila, one of the two for me.
What about with you said you had 2 dads.
Mm-hmm.
So on Father's Day, do you celebrate them?
Yeah, my dad's the same way.
Okay.
My dad's the same way. He's like nonchalant about it. Father's Day's every day. My stepfather passed away my rookie year.
Okay.
So yeah, so he was the same way, where it's like it's not a big thing, because if it doesn't happen and what you expect, right? Like what you expect, if it don't happen, now what? Where are you at emotionally? Right. Who are you? You this little boy or this little girl now that's disappointed and you need a hug? What does matter with you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm happy. I'm okay. I'm all right.
So what advice would you give to other guys on this day? Like, the perspective that you have is you were raised that way from 2 dads. Mm-hmm. And so you internalize that, and now you present that to your kids. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you think would work for other guys? Is like not to be so big on that day, that it's a lifestyle.
Well, listen, if you are a real dad, it's everyday one, I would say. And this is for just like not fathers, but everyone. Like, when you start to compare as a thief of joy,
right? Like,
don't compare. Why? What does it matter if they did nothing, if they did a lot? I believe in intentions. So if women, they'll talk about it, or men, just say women. They go around a round table. Oh, what did you do for yours? What did you do for yours? What is it? It's going to be Tommy Toppums? What if you say, I like cards? Oh, that's all you got was a card? Well, I like flowers. I don't like flowers. Oh, I like candy. I'm allergic to candy. So what is it really? What if they kiss your butt every day but that day? What does it matter? Right? So don't be so caught up in something that was made up. It's not spiritual. It doesn't really matter. Right? It's every day. It's every day.
You say dad and you say father. What is your perspective, and what's the difference when you say dad versus father?
Well, I think father's more biological, and dad is more actional, more there, more. Anybody can be a father. That's very hard to be a dad. Right. Especially in this society. It's very, they throw loopholes and curveballs at us all day long. So it's like
What about that right there? As the way society is now, how tough is it being a dad, let alone being a single dad? How would you?
Yeah, listen, man, it's a challenge. It's a great challenge for me because I say this in a lot of my speeches when I go around and I talk. I think the excitement for me, just like basketball when I played, and I love the passion I have with basketball is like being a dad, being a mentor, being a muse for individuals, an oracle. And that means I have to become better, right? I have to read more. I have to study myself more. I have to create my own little sanctuaries where I can become my best more. But for me, wow. Look where I'm at. I'm excited at who I can become.
Through the kids.
Yes, because they're your children are your actual teachers. When you're annoyed and your heart's broken and you want this and you want that, you actually that child, but in a grown body, because they're triggering you. Why are they triggering you? So if you're this mom or you're this dad and you're doing all this stuff and then all of a sudden you don't feel appreciated or you don't feel this or they triggering you. No, it's not them. God sent them down to teach you something and you're not listening. So you need to pay attention and figure it out because it's not their fault, right? That's how this one works. Yeah.
That's a good point. So the kids are sort of like a mirror
Yeah.
to help you become better
Exactly.
if you put the work in.
Yeah, you're only talking to your younger self. When something happens, you're talking to your younger self. So now how do you talk to that person? You have to be a little bit more patient because you taught that little person that's actually physically in front of you what you were before. That's why they're acting like that.
And even if you didn't teach them, they saw you.
Yeah.
So it could be a learned behavior, whether you taught them
They're
or
just
not.
matching whatever you do.
Right.
They're not matching what you say.
Right.
That's in anything in life, right? I'm watching patterns. I'm not listening to what you say. You can say, I love you all day, but I'm watching it. It's action.
Right.
So kids watch. You ever be in a car and then the kids in the car and then you sitting there driving and you can feel them looking at you like you looking at me right now?
Right.
Yeah, that's what they do on a regular.
Right.
While you're sitting on the couch, while you're reading a book, while you're getting angry, when you spill something, when you feed the dog, when you pet the cat, they're watching everything you do. So you have to be really conscious because they were you at one time. You were them at one time. So all these little emotions and all this, I don't feel appreciated. Oh God, he makes me so mad. Or she makes me this. It's like, that's you, buddy. Figure it out. Go write in your journal. Read it over. Time to go to work.
You said, like, as you're raising kids as a dad, how do you measure intention, what the kid intends, versus the result?
I think
because you just like intention, intention, everybody intends to do good.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean that's what the result is.
Mm-hmm. Well, the result comes for years, right? You don't just become wise, right? Or wisdom comes from pain. So at the end of the day, if I can keep reminding not my children, but myself on how I can become my best, sooner or later when my children go off, they will pick up something. It's not for me for them to pick up everything. You know, they were talking about, you know, certain kids, oh, they 15 or they 16 or 17, or will they get it? It's like, you do it consistently. Just do it. That's it. When they're gone and you're not there, guess what will happen? All the things that you have done, your actions, will pour into it. That's it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So lead by example.
That's it.
The action that you put forth is going to come back.
You're going to ask a 15-year-old, you're 40, you're 50 years old. You're going to ask a 50-year-old to get what you have now, but when you were 15, you didn't have it. How that one work? I can't be upset with my son. I'm a pro. I shot 40% from three-point range in my pro year, when I was a professional. I can't be upset with my son when he's trying to figure out how do I shoot 40% from the field, from three-point line at 15. Well, you're not in the NBA, so you can't do it in the NBA. So let's just take our time.
Right. There's some time that got to be. Yeah.
Kids
Some
are
things
trying to
only
rush,
come.
and parents are trying to hurry. Kids are trying to rush to get up here, and parents are trying to hurry the kids' development to get up here. But you forget that you were once that. You gotta be a little more humble.
Right.
We're not humble, right? We don't understand development, right? You don't go plant a seed, and then the next day you dig it up and say, you coming out?
Yeah.
You let it develop. You need the sun, you need the soil, you need the water, you need positive affirmations. Do that. It'll happen, but we're just not patient. And being patient with yourself is the number one thing.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely difficult.
Yeah.
We always talk about mastering your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That should be everybody's first job.
Right.
As a dad, that should be our first
Facts.
duty, is to master ourselves before we put all these things on our
Facts.
kids.
Facts.
And that's where a lot of us don't want to put. I realized I thought I was a thorough dude
Mm-hmm.
until I met someone and realized, man, I got a lot of work to do.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's
fun.
What did you say about, as a dad, there's three things that I really started focusing on this year. I used to be an honest guy, right? But 2020, I'd say 2023, I started knowing the difference between honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. As a dad, how do you work with your kids and whomever when it comes to honesty, being transparent, and vulnerability? Because we're not really taught from where we're from to be vulnerable.
Well, it's all about humiliation, right? If you can withstand humility, being honest with yourself first, And what does that mean, right? What are your insecurities? Let's address them, right? Because you're going to see them more because you manifest them more in your head within inside your universe and your journey more, right? So what are those? Let's attack those quickly because it's the little boy, little girl that's in their room and it's pitch black. And then they have a chair, and that chair is a coat on it. Well, in that kid's mind, that's a monster. When you cut on the light, it's not a monster. So we have to start to clear out this room that we have that's really junky upstairs so we don't see something that's actually not a monster, but our insecurities make it a monster. And this is adults coming to these type of worlds.
Right.
Where the relationship, the lights are on. And then when you become scared or insecure or not honest, now you're that little boy or girl in that room that's dark with that coat that's a chair. And now you make that person the monster. Right. So learning that about yourself early on and attacking that quickly, I think leads to the others.
Do you think playing sports helped you?
Big time.
Okay.
Big time. Because you are not good and you need to become better. And in doing that, there's mental fatigue. So you need to step into the mental gym, right? And at a very young age, right? Mommy and daddy can't help you. So we need to figure this out alone, right? Yeah. So mom can, moms are more, prone to handicapping them more because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm going to clean your clothes and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do. My son, 14-year-old, since he was 12 years old, go down and wash your own clothes. He's in live with me. Wash your own clothes. Now, I'll cook food because I love to cook. But wash your clothes, clean your room, do this, do that. Do your own stuff. You don't have to ask me that.
Right, stand up.
Stand up. Because guess what? When you playing on the football field, she's not coming out of the stands to hold that ball and run down the field. She's letting you do it, ain't she?
Right.
Even though she's a little nervous, but she's like, well, then you should be doing that at home. So then now she can have a life because women get lost in a child's life. Just like a child get lost in a woman's life, right?
They find their identity in
yeah. And then you on the basketball court. He's not gonna come, oh, I'm gonna shoot it for you. Well, I'm gonna foul him because he fouled. No, you stand, you watch. They gotta develop. It's just how it works. It's how it works. Yep.
So being an athlete helped you build the mental muscles, right? Is that why all of your kids play sports? Mm-hmm. And that's, what would you say as far as the team side of it helps you to master the mental side of yourself? Being able to have competition, being able to fall down, get your knees skint, those are things that we should be, because kids aren't doing that nowadays. Kids are social media, kids are video games. We need to get back out there.
Everything in life is a metaphor, right? Okay. So the team is actually a family. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, if you have them, aunts, uncles, cousins, blah, blah, blah. That's the team. Football team, basketball team, baseball team. It's a team. So when you fall down, you got to get up. Same thing in the family. Fall down, you got to get up. When it's tough and we're fighting and we're arguing in the house, hey, listen, we got to figure this out. It's a team. We're trying to win a championship. So all this old slamming doors and don't want to talk. You don't close no doors in my house. Only one close doors in my daughter when she take a shower. After that, open them doors back up. We're not doing that. We don't go to bed angry with each other. We're not doing that. We're going to talk it out. If you piss, you piss. Go take a walk. I don't care. What for what? So it's the same thing in a team environment. What is your goal? So that's what a team is. And then when you take it home, you say, okay, you know what? It's not that personal.
Right.
I need to help mom more. I need to help dad more. And then mom said, you know what? I need to help them become their best. See, one of the phrases is, I'm going to take care and love me for you if you take care and love you for me.
It's a good one.
That's what it's about. It's not about me pouring all mine into you and I'm empty. We do it the wrong way.
Right.
Right? Because then now we can all enjoy this together. We're going to all eat when we do business.
Right.
It's 5 of us. Okay, here you go. It's 5 million. There we go. Now I get 4 and y'all split this up. How'd that work?
Right.
Y'all gonna look at me a certain way. What if I burn it all? You understand?
Right. We all need to be strong.
Y'all need to be strong.
What about accountability? As a dad, being accountable to the kids and the kids being accountable to, like you just said, the family.
Admitting the mistakes. You have to admit your mistakes and your flaws, just like in sports, right? At the end of the day, if you're giving me the ball, Mom, if you're giving me the ball all the time and I'm the one that's the point guard and I'm turning it over or I'm missing shots, whose fault is it? It's yours, and that's okay. But how do we help you just so you don't turn the ball over a lot? Dad, you're supposed to be rebounding, right? You're supposed to be our closer. You're not doing it, and we gave you the ball a couple of times. Accountability is, for me, I have to do my job. Just like my 14-year-old son got to do his job. My daughter, you have to do your job. Oldest sons, you got to do your job. Do your job. See, if we can start with small goals and small things within inside the house. When you get out there and the boss say do this, or you have your own thing, you just do that. Just attack one thing at a time. I can't go from A to Z. I gotta go A, B, C, D. You can't jump from 1 to 10. I don't know nobody jump from grade 1 to grade 10.
The process.
It's a process.
So you got to fall in love with the process.
Fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. Don't negotiate. This is what it is.
That was difficult for me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Growing up, it was difficult for me. I was trying to get the shortcut, skip from this to that was me. So now, as I got older, I realized it's a process, and you got to fall in love with it.
Well, because at the end of the day, right, you can go from, my son started playing basketball a couple years back. Just picked up a ball. We working out every single day. He's getting frustrated, working out every single day. They just asked him to play in the All-American camp. It's 2 years, right? We still got a long way to go. But the point is, he's seeing the process. You have to fall in love with boring. Repetition.
Hold on, that's big right there.
Yeah, you have to fall in love with
People
that.
don't like to be bored.
Yeah. You got to fall in love with boring. But the constructive boredom, not just not doing anything. You can always do something. You can read, you can meditate, you can become still, you can walk, you can do anything, right? So my boy friends come over the house and they come in there. I'm like, what you doing, roaming around? I say, I'm just bored. I'm like, no, we don't, that word not in our house. We don't do that. It's books downstairs. My library over there. Go pick something. Do something. But we're not doing that. So
to be a successful dad, one of the things is become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, you have to. That's life. Life is hard. Everything, being a mom is hard. Being a dad is hard. Being a kid is hard, especially in 2024, okay? It's hard. But if you understand that and stop complaining about being hard, hard becomes easy if you have a routine. And sooner or later, guess what? It'll break away. And then, wow, is it hard? Well, for them, not for me. I know what to expect. See, if you don't plan, you don't have a goal, you don't know what to expect, then it's hard. Of course. But if I know I got to go on the track and we got to run a mile, I'm ready for the mile. And I'm running the mile for a week, I'm ready for 2 miles the next week. And then 3, and then 4. And then before you know it, it's 6 months later and I'm running 25 miles. One day.
Right.
Wow. How'd you do that? Oh, you want to see the process? Oh, steps, see? I started at 1, then I got there. Simple.
So everybody's consistent, but everybody's not consistently positive. So no matter what, we're being consistent. But what you're saying is to take those steps and be consistent with the positive so that you get the actual result that you want out of it.
Well, yeah, because you build confidence. Confidence comes from repetition. And then being positive, it's an action. It's something that you have to repeat on the regular to understand the development of it, right? So positive to me is thinking it. You have to think it. So first I have to become it in my head, visualize it, right? Like I tell you right now, if I say to you, visualize a truck. You're like, well, what truck? Visualize your favorite truck. What color is it? You see how detailed I'm getting?
Right.
That's how you're supposed to be. See, because now if I'm like that, I don't have to think of like, right? You tell kids when they're younger, use your words. They don't even have that many. They don't even have that many. That's how we are sometimes, even grown-ups. You don't really know your dreams. You don't even know who you are. If you do a Myers-Briggs test right now, if you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 40, all of them is different because you're evolving, or you're supposed to evolve. Then there's 60 characteristics of a complex trauma. Those are different questions. But you evolve as a person. Now, you are your first 7 years of the environment that you were around. Who was that? Mom, dad, if you're fortunate, grandma, aunties, all those type of people. That's who you are. So when you take these psychological testings and these behavioral testings, you're only testing from people that you were. So now we got to find out, who am I?
Right. You haven't even developed into the person you're supposed to be because you took on the other.
You get all that other, yeah.
Those other characteristics.
Yeah. We're mimics. We're great mimics. We mimic. You act like your father. You act like your mother. You act like such and such. You act like this. That's all we do.
So what's some advice that you would give to a dad that helped you as a dad?
Well, I had great fathers. Right? They were perfect to me in their own way. Two different individuals, but there's a lot of hugs, loves, kisses, and a lot of pumping me up as far as my confidence. And attached to that was my work ethic. So they were pushing me to work hard at whatever it is I was doing. So I would tell dads out there to pour love into your children. Fight, right? To be consistent. To know the principal, to know the vice principal, to know the teachers, to know the pediatricians, to know the dentists, to really be involved and to understand them. I mean, sometimes it's not about take them off the phone, let's go for a walk. It's just being involved, right? Because they're teaching you more about who you should become than you teaching them, right? So I think that's where staying around them as long as you can is great.
Man. All right, thanks, Cap.
Yes, sir. Oh,
HisSide.
anytime.